Hi all, welcome back to more The Other Side of the Hill solo. This is my part 34 now. Quite a few days went by, I haven't had the chance to get back. But I'm here now, hopefully trying to squeeze in a quick part. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, I have about an hour just. So hopefully, if I'm not pausing too much, I should be able to get a part done. Okay, couple of things to mention. One is I left a comment in part 33 at the 10-minute 45-second mark that I spoke incorrectly about advancing a second sector. I'm assuming it was in our attacks up here, which is, or as well staying up there because a mistake's been brought to my attention. Hang on. So anyway, I spoke wrongly about advancing a second sector. I was obviously into a rough hex, and I said I could advance a second sector. I wasn't looking at it properly. Anyway, I didn't do it or anything. So, right, the mistake. Now, I made this mistake before, and I'm annoyed, but I'm also a little bit. I want to say something about this too. There's not. Right, well, it's about this guy, Fedor von Bock, and his special, which is down in the box down below, is Prima Donna. After a victory in a combat where the axis is the attacker, a second advance must be conducted if the terrain allows it. I got caught with this once before, spoiled it myself, I think, and amended it quickly enough to not cause any trouble. Fortunately, I'm going to be able to fix it this time as well. But I'm a little annoyed about this guy. Now, there's quite a few generals with special boxes down below. I was looking at the generals that aren't in play yet, and none of them have a special box with any of this information. Now, he's got an important special effect, special box. The majority, I want to say, have specials that say things like this. When dismissed or removed from play, add 2 prestige, is it prestige points or IP to the old guard. We're not playing with any of that. So, I mean, it is relevant for the probably the co-op and the competitive game, but we're not playing with that. So it's irrelevant. So that, with the majority of these being irrelevant to me, it's maybe that's one excuse to like miss that. That's a one card from there. That was my available general. I was just looking there. Looking up the guys that are getting questioned at the moment, a couple of them have a special. Right, well, he's relevant because he says when dismissed or removed from play, add +1 to the unrest value. So that is relevant. You've got to be aware of that. That is when he's dismissed or removed from play, okay? Which I'm more comfortable with. Now, I might just be, trying to make excuses here. Here's another one. These are the guys that have been activated, that have activated. Again, it's prestige points there, so not of any interest to us. Again, prestige points. This one again is +1 to unrest when dismissed or removed from play again. So, when you dismiss this guy and remove him from play, you've got to be aware that that's going to trigger. So you do have to be aware of that. I guess what I'm trying to say here is, because this guy's relevant to the actual combat, I guess what I'm wanting to say is, could this not have been up here in this other box for this guy in particular? I know there's text space issues and whatever, but basically that could have just been a full box with all the information regarding combat, And I know it's a sort of special, and I get that. Let's look at some of the rest. Like I say, all the guys that aren't in play yet. Right, Von Runested's relevant as well, but again, it's on dismissal. Add this card to general cards in play next year. If he's a dissident, he returns his old guard. That bit's irrelevant. But again, so you've got to be aware of that one. And then he is relevant as well. He cannot be appointed as head of army group or activated as leading general. That's one that you could possibly see yourself getting caught up with. But I think once he's in the air naval control in the southern front, that's it. That's all that's relevant. But anyway, he does have a special ability there. Right, so that's all of them. I think there was one other guy. That's again prestige points. I'm not going to show you it. And the rest are these aren't specials. These down the bottom. These are the misfortune events that could happen. So there's only this one guy. And he's relevant to combat. I don't think, I kind of wish that, Carlos, this had been all in the one box. I know it's classed as a special ability, and I might be sounding like I'm making excuses here because I missed it, but I'll be very surprised if others haven't missed that. I'll be very surprised if everybody's getting that. I've missed it twice now. I spotted it myself the first time. I didn't spot it this time. And I think if it had been in this box as part of this, I'm pretty sure I would have spotted it, you just need to make it all part of that one box, I think. I don't know. I don't know what the rest of you think about that, but anyway. So, when we attacked, it's this area here, when we attacked from Minsk into Smolensk, we could have advanced a second sector into Oral. And that's what we should have done, because he's a prima donna, and that's what happens. And now, a sec. So, yeah, so that was Carlos that brought it up. 18-minute, 36-second mark. I'm afraid Von Bock is a prima donna general that forces you to conduct a second advance. So you have to advance to Orel, I'm afraid. Be careful what you advance with, because you're leaving Belarus adjacent to Soviet-controlled Ukraine behind you, so you will have to place pawns both in the Moscow and Belarus area come the Soviet offensive segment. Yeah, because Ukraine's adjacent there. So that is going to be I don't want to advance. And it's kind of annoying, because I'm not saying in this area here, we were in Königsberg and we wanted to advance a second, we done the second advance, so if only Von Bock had been there, and I wouldn't have had to, you would still take the reduction grant, but I would be forced to take an advance where I was wanting to take an advance anyway. Again, this is the placing of the generals, and I don't think I could have moved them about easily, but it might not have been as straightforward as that. But anyway, so I'm going to have to do this, which is really annoying. Yeah, I can't really take any of it back. Well, I need to go back to the command phase and see if I could do anything about that general, but we've drawn cards, we've rolled dice and everything, so I've got to just take this on the chin. So we are going to advance into the Moscow region area, which shoves that back into there. We come into Orel. This becomes disputed. Now, we have to take a... Right, the thing is, that was the attack first, wasn't it? I'm just wondering if there was a reduced army there. I'm sure we done that attack first, and then that one. Ah, man. Right, I'm going to have a look at this. Hang on. Right, so things are going to be slightly different here. This is probably going to be slightly more beneficial for me, though, because this combat happened second, and we had to we advanced the second sector. So this reduced army was in here, and that was in here when we attacked into Riga. Then, however, we need to rewind time here a bit and fix this second advance that we're forced to do. So now we've got to take a reduction to make that second advance, and at that time there was a reduced army there though, so that does enable me to keep the 4 armies in they're going to be in these 2 areas, but unfortunately this is going to reduce. So then when we went for the combat, so that's me taking the reduction, done the second advance. Let me just, I need to at least advance 1 army and well, the general might go if there's 2 armies. My guess is I'm going to advance 2 armies, but when we done the combat here and had to take the reduction, there was then no reduced armies, so the reduction would have to have been taking a reduced army away. Like that. Right, so that's us fixed that. Now, what are we going to advance in? So, I need to... Well, the important bit is I need to hold Belarus. But we're shortly going into the Soviet offensive, and they're going to attack this, but they're also going to attack from here and here. And, I mean, yeah, it will be that they'll attack from there and there as well. Yeah, I mean, it's not that they can only attack one area. That my understanding is that they're going to get to attack into both Hungary and into Belarus from Ukraine. Okay, so is Von Bock any good at on defence? No, he's not. Well, that then means that you might be able to place somebody better in his position. Well, I sort of feel like I've got to keep the slightly stronger. Oh, hang on, I've moved that. That's wrong, isn't it? That should stay there. We should have created a new control disk because we still hold this. And this is the area. We need to keep this. We've taken these 2 areas, but we don't resolve the military directive until that step, which is after the West Soviet offensive. So we need to hold them on defence. And we've lost an army up here that I've maybe should have had. Okay, we've got 2 greys instead of a grey and 3 whites, but so I think I've got to keep. I feel like I've got to keep the stronger army there and then just move these 2 into here then. That does mean I think Von Bock has to go with them into there, which that means we're not going to have a general in there. Because that doesn't. Yeah, it's not going to get filled. Well, thing is, Von Bock wasn't doing any good in there anyway on defence. Yeah. So I think we then have a vacancy there, but that's obviously in the next operations phase, which will be in the fall. Yeah, so we're not going to get anybody that we can chuck in there on defence. Great. I don't think it makes it any better if we just advance 1 army and then keep Von Bock back there. Because they're still going to attack into here, and we've got 1 army. And, you feel like you're definitely going to get retreated, but I don't know, is that... Yeah, because if let's say they roll 4 dice, and we're rolling 1, and and it's into and it's into planes. So let's have a wee shot at maybe. Let's just say they only get 3 hits, and let's say we get 1. So that's then 2 hits we've got to take. So, that's probably a generous amount. So it means take a reduction and then retreat. That would be okay though, because I'm not fussy about being in Moscow. But if they get 4 hits to our 1, which isn't impossible, because remember they could roll tank symbols in there, then that's 3 hits, and that's then reduction, and then I've got to retreat twice. So it's retreat, and then we'd have to retreat into Minsk. Now, I had to get to decide how the combats go, so maybe I would have done this one first. If that's the case and we're still in Smolensk, then we're back in Minsk. they're in Smolensk, and we've our Barbarossa's up in there, isn't it? So, well, you either have the stronger. Yeah, that's horrible. I just don't want to. I don't want to be in here, but well, you have to. I'm afraid. That's cruel. That's cruel. Like, I think I'm going to have to go with the 2 in each. And hope for the best. Well, that's of course, you might get lucky, and just looking at the discards here in the combat, them on the attacks, if I got that likes a card like that, where it's just a winter snowflake attack, that'd be ideal, but or even like that one, that's just a reduction. We are 1942 still, aye. But yeah, it's a gamble. You could just as easily get that with reduction in 4 dice. Well, that's card number 20. Well, that's nice to see that. We're not going to get that then. Although in saying that, card number 1's in this card pile as well. And the other thing to think about if I do only advance 1 army is we're not going to have an AG head in there, which, because they're more than likely going to get questioned. So if we don't have an AG head, then obviously it can't get questioned. No, I don't know what to do here. Other things though, do we care if, I don't like Von Bock. Yeah, because even his attack ability cancels 1 air result, which, okay, I'm not saying that's a bad result. It's obviously it's okay. It's pretty decent. It's not the best though, is it? And it would give us a chance to put somebody a bit more defensive into there. Okay. I think I'm going to go with that. So how do you go about your attack? Do you do Moscow first? I don't know. It depends on your defensive generals that you're going to have, I think. I know I'm looking way ahead. We've still got a Western offensive combat to deal with, but so what I'm going to get access to is 6s and 4s I've got. Yeah, okay. Well, actually, there's a guy, subtract 1 hit from the allied combat roll if it's in planes. So you'd want that in Moscow. And yeah, this guy's pretty good. Roll up to 2 dice in the Axis combat roll. Draw a player may choose. Roll up to 2 dice in the Axis combat roll. Roll up to 2 dice in the Axis combat roll. The controlling player may choose the original result or the new result. Oh, sorry. Reroll. Reroll up to 2. Yeah, well, that's pretty decent as well. Yeah, I don't know why I wasn't making sense to that. Yeah. That cancels a tank result. So we've got generals optional. Right, I think I'm going to go with this. I don't know. I think you could see this going either way. I'm hoping for a lucky card. Let us say the card 20 is on the top there. Do I take a gamble? Take a gamble and leave the 3 armies back there, and then go for this area first, and hopefully we don't get a combat. But then again, you're still probably going to be sitting in that area like that. I just want to back out of that area. I kind of want to just retreat. You know what? I'm going to take a chance. So that means that goes back there. Because I'm not fussy about Moscow at the moment. Right, okay, come on, Grant. You're pushed for time as it is. Right, I've got half an hour now. Right, I'm going to go with that. So that's me fixed things. We had to do the second advance. Had to take a reduction. And then we've only advanced one army. Obviously, the one boat can't follow us because... Yeah. Right, okay. Right, I'm probably not going to even get to the Soviet offensive at this rate. Okay, so we had this combat still to resolve as well. In fact, yeah, we're going to be drawing a combat card for this. So yeah, because we'd done there was a combat in Spain. Oh yeah, we got knocked. Did we not get knocked out of Spain? Oh no, we're still in there in Barcelona. We got smashed about though, didn't we? Yeah, it got horrible, didn't it? Right, so we're doing a combat here. I'm defending in rough. I've only got the two armies. Egypt, Strauss. Anyway, let's draw. We need to draw a combat card first. So Western faction on the attack, 1942. I just wanted to look down there first. Look, that's what we wanted up there. Oh no, what was that? Card number 10. Right, so 1942 on the attack. Well, they're not going to attack either. That's right, in Western faction on the attack, 2 air rolls and no number after that, so no combat. And 2 air rolls. Now our air naval control. Oh, I don't think we need to roll then. Air naval control's in the 1 box in the southern front. So I'm right in saying, in fact, does it not just tell you here? Yeah, that's one of the bits I quite like to see it in the rulebook, I think. Oh, there was another comment that Carlos had left. Now, hang on, roll 1 Western. If the air naval control value in the combat's front is 1, there is no effect. Right, so it's at 1, so there's no point in me rolling these dice. Combat's over. That's it. Right, well, maybe we'll get to see some Soviet stuff. I would have loved that combat card though. Now what do I do? What was his other comment? Hang on a second. Here we go. 47. Yeah, this was regarding events. And yeah, I didn't really think about this, but it is clearly structured this way. It's a sort of sequence of play, isn't it? Where's that in the books? Yeah. Combat resolution, yeah. Well, let's read his comment first. Events are resolved before the application of combat results. Which are kind of new, but... And this was discussing the card... what was it again? Was it a counter-attack? And I was wondering if that hit was relevant. So, he says... so the reduction would have been part of the combat. The reference to it after resolving the current combat was just intended to remind you that you do not apply the reduction before rolling the dice, and yes, a reduction must be applied to an army in the combat area. That is why the AG head and leading general flipped to the requested side. The only activated generals at the moment of resolving the event are those in Spain. Yeah, so he does make a point there that I'm wondering, like, which, you know, doesn't specify that it's in this area that you take the reduction. Like, what card that will be at the bottom in the combat deck? I think it went in the next year's, didn't it? So is it Hitler orders counter-attack? Is it that one? There's been quite a few days went by. After resolving the current combat, apply 1 reduction to 1 German army. Then flip the markers of the activated head of army group and leading general to the question side. Yeah, I mean, I still, with the way it's worded, after resolving the current combat, apply 1 reduction to 1 German army. You know, just as you're reading that, and I know it's just me. But apply, right? I've resolved this combat. Now I have to apply a reduction to 1 German army. Well, I'm going to come across here and reduce this. You know, that's it. Yeah, I know you're like shaking your head at me, Carlos. And I did do it that way. I done it that way, but I'm just saying that the wording, people that follow the literal wording exactly to the T can maybe just sort of see that, and then because I do, I sort of consider it and I say, well, what's that? Yeah. And then I feel like I think you're being stupid here, Grant. And I'm probably and I am. Let's just say I am and leave it at that. Okay, so yeah, but the event would be resolved first. So this resolves first, but the reason it's worded, it says after resolving the current combat, and he says the reason that it's worded that way was to remind you that you do not apply the reduction before rolling the dice. Okay, so it would have affected things here. However, I think we done things differently and ended up getting the OB questioned as well, didn't we? Right. Okay. Thanks for your comments, Carlos. Even though I'm not happy about Von Bock, but anyway, that's how it goes. Right, so quickly, can we do some Soviet offensives then? Well, I suppose I'm not sure what one to take now, because that card that we just drew would be... We do have a Werstal as well, remember, Grant, so okay, that could be important, and if it means keeping Barbarossa a success, then I'll be using it. For sure, I would think. Right, so the combat pawns are going in disputed areas. So we're getting one in Moscow, and that's only disputed. Then you've got adjacent to, Soviet-controlled. Right, so Ukraine's adjacent to that, so now we know we're getting one there. Leningrad's adjacent to Baltic states. I mean, we've got to hold that one as well. And then we've got Ukraine adjacent to Hungary. And... yeah, cause that means you're getting an extra one, of course, aren't you? Yeah. And then we've got Ukraine and, well, the Black Sea adjacent to Romania, Bulgaria. So we're getting 5. Yeah. Okay. So 3 armies there, 3 armies there, 3 armies there, 3 armies there, and then there's 1 army here. Where do we start? Well, our air naval control's in the 2 box, so we should probably start in the area that we really, really don't want to get the worst out of. It might just be Moscow, I don't know, because if they hit Moscow hard, it means they come through into Belarus. I mean, these are the 2 important ones to hold, but because we had to advance into Moscow. Now, like I say, looking at that last combat card, I mean, the next one could be similar to this. It's not, there's 20 cards and they're all random. So there's the one just before it, which was, like I say, card number 20. So I wouldn't like to see that. I mean, that would be devastating. 4 dice and a reduction if we pick Moscow right now. Whereas that would be relief. But we should, because our air naval control's at the 2 box, it gives us that just a little bit of leeway. I feel like we should just go for Moscow first. I think what's putting me off is because that was a good card that we just drew. Oh, to hell with it. I'm going to go for Moscow. I'm going to do it. Yeah, we're in planes. Yeah, okay, let's just do it. Let's just go for Moscow now. We've no AG ahead. But we've got to draw a card first, Grant. So let's draw a card in the hope that there's no combat. 1942 Soviet faction. Oh no. That's a reduction as well. Reduction in 3 dice. Oh no, this is horrible. Because I'm not going to have an army to start with, which means I want to say we take 3 retreats. Unless I can stop that reduction. Ah, man. Yeah, I probably should have used this card elsewhere. knowing that the last card had been, you know, give yourself a wee bit of hope. I think we're in trouble. Big style. So we don't have an OB, we don't have an AG head, and we need to try and stop a reduction to make this combat at least where we roll dice. Because I don't think there's going to be a dice roll, and if we can't stop, and I think I just looked at the generals I've got. So let's just see if there's anybody. Oh, I've got a chance. Look, Ernst Busch. Roll 1 grey die. I've got my wrong glasses on. I left them downstairs and I couldn't be bothered going to get them. So I'm struggling to read that a bit. Roll 1 grey die. If the result is a grey hit, cancel the special of the reduction special effect in the combat card. I have to play him, I think. Let's see what else we've got. That was defending in any. That's defending rubber against Western faction. Defending on planes. Subtract 1 hit, but I need to stop the reduction. Reroll up to 2 dice. Which is, no, I wouldn't use that there anyway. Add 1 hit, cancel. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use him, but let's just double check. If I don't use him, if we don't cancel that reduction, this has to be reduced. And then we've no armies there. So, where does it tell us about that? Combat resolution, allied combat roll. Let's see if I can find this. There we go. Page 25. Rule 6 is combat resolution, you know, and there's an important box there. Undefended areas. If an area with an allied combat pawn does not contain any Axis armies, apply 3 Axis retreats starting in that area. If there is a general mark in the OB head box of that front, flip it to its question site. When resolving combat, yeah. So that's what has to happen, isn't it? Because we resolve. Draw and reveal 1 combat card. Activate the generals. Hang on. Draw 1 combat card. Right, so we still actually have to activate our generals here first. Yeah, clearly, Grant, because then that's going to stop. Then we resolve the special effects. Yeah, why does it not show that in the rule book? Step 1 is 6.1, draw and reveal 1 combat card, right? 2 is 6.2, activate generals, right? 3 is allied combat roll 6.3, but you resolve the special effects first. Yeah, must be resolved before the allied combat roll. Okay, right, well, I've got no choice here at all. All I can do is pray that Ernst Busch here is going to, because this is my general. Yeah, we still get a leading general, don't we? Even though there's no AG head, as long as it's 1 general, innit? Activate the head army group. If there is at least 1 German army, leading general must be activated, and he must be highest or second highest, and he must be lower than the activated head of army group. But there's no activated head of army group, so my take in this case is that it wouldn't matter what seniority it was, but the fact he's got to be either a 6 or a 4, I mean, we're picking a 6. So it's got to be him. We're putting in. So we're going to roll 1 grey die here, and if the result is a grey hat, we're going to cancel that reduction. And this needs to happen. Or, yeah, because Abwehr doesn't... No, Abwehr's not going to help me either. We really need this grey dice as a hat. please. Come on. We need that. Really need that. Yes! Oh. Ah, well. I'm hanging on. Right, so roll 1 grey die. If the result is a hat, cancel the reduction special effect in the combat card. So we cancel that. And we move on. Now we've got a combat with 3 dice. Whew. Well, so combat with 3 dice. That would have been horrible. Honestly, that would have been horrible. Right, we've got Abwehr, remember. They're rolling 3 dice. We're only going to be tongue tied there. I'm just relieved after that result. Yeah, we're only going to get to roll 1 white die, and then yeah, and our general's done his thing, so we're not going to. The only thing we do have is Abwehr, so we can add 1 hat. So worst case, and remember it's in planes, we do not want to see any tank results here. Is there any extra dice? No, we're not defending. It's defending in planes. They're naval control. Well, it's a Soviet faction anyway, but it is up to. We're not benefiting from that. There's no any +1s, I hope. No, there's +1 is here, isn't it? Yeah, but I mean, my guess is if there'd been a +1 there or there for that matter, they would have got it there. Anyway, there's not. Right, so 3 dice. Like I say, to keep Barbarossa going, we need to be able to have a difference of only 2 hits. Yeah. So we really need no tanks. No tanks, please. Right, here we go. Oh, that's a good result. That's an excellent result. Oh. I mean, we're going to get an event, but no tanks, which was important, but and 1 air hat, 1 event. Only 1 hat. Woof. Now, I want to retreat here, though. I think. I know it's. Yeah, but hold on. If you've got an army, I can't retreat my army, can I? I don't think so. You're just going to lose that army. Well, actually, if there's only 1 hat, well, we've got a dice to roll yet. Anyway. Okay, so that's the result, and it'll knock our air down to 1, which might affect some of the other combats to come. But yeah, well, I think we're going to roll our dice now, aren't we? Okay, so we've just got the 1 white dice. I'm actually, if I take a retreat, what happens to the army then? If there's 1 hat between us, if the number of hats is lower than the number of hats from the Allied combat roll, defeat. For every hat, must apply 1 retreat or 1 reduction. Advance and retreat. Retreat. In order to retreat, move the Axis control distance to the next lowest number. Move the Allied control distance. Retreats must be applied even after all armies in an area have been eliminated. So I can't retreat if there's an army there still, can I? I don't know. It doesn't seem to mention that. Or if it does, I'm not seeing it. Well, you know what, Grant? You might not have the choice. I've got to roll the dice here, so I've got a white dice, because if I get a hit here, and if I get a hit, it's an attrition, isn't it? Which is the same. I can't get a tank off a white dice. Right, let's just see what I get. White dice. Right, let's do it. Right, well, we got nothing. So that means it is a defeat rather than an attrition. I don't know if this matters or not. I kind of like the difference to be 2 hits, so that But maybe I can just retreat. Maybe the army just goes away. Anyway, we've got a couple of things to deal with first. So we've got an air hat on the eastern front. So that goes down to 1. That takes care of that. Now, yeah, we got a blank, so we got nothing. We've got a combat event. Well, this could maybe mess things up or not, maybe. Right, so combat event. Troops escape encirclement. If the USSR is not at war, well, they are. If the combat is with the Western faction, no, it's not. Cancel 1 hit from the Axis combat rule in this combat. Well, we didn't get a hit. That would have been bad if we needed it. I was going to say we could have used a Boer, couldn't we? I don't think I want to anyway. Well, this does nothing then, I think, and that's it being used. It goes away. That's that done. So we've got 1 hit to resolve. I just want to get out of that area, but I mean, I want to retreat the army as well, but I'm sort of feeling like I can't do that. But I'm not sure how you deal with that. I'm not sure. So I've got to. It's a defeat, and the difference is 1. So I've got to take either 1 retreat or 1 reduction. If at least 1 retreat or 2 reductions, flip the leading general and activate head of the army group in the area to the question sides. Right, I've not got time to mess about with this, so I might have to go and... Well, I suppose I could leave this here in the video. Maybe I might not get back for a wee while anyway. Things have been a bit slow just now. So, I'm going to take it as a retreat. Because, I mean, I sort of feel like that's better. Is it? Or is it? You know, man, I don't know. I'm going to have no armies there, which is going to be horrible for the next attack. I mean, yes, I could start putting armies. I'm going to take this as a retreat, okay? So we retreat back into Smolensk. That just comes away. This goes back to Soviet control. That goes up to Orel. Now, combat's over. That hit can go away. Combat card can go away. We carried out a retreat, so he's going to be questioned. He was our leading general, Ernst Busch. Let me find his counter. I still never got around to sorting them all out. Oh, that was quite handy. I got him. Right, so he's questioned, and I'll put him up in the selection there. I'm going to just say, I'm not going to do the combat in here yet, just in case this comes back. I'm going to say that this just goes away. I feel like that must be what has to happen, but I don't know. I'm going to look it up in BGG. I've just not got time at the moment, but like I say, it's probably going to be a little while before I get another recording done. So by all means, Carlos, let me know if I'm getting that bit wrong. I'm not going to do this combat here just yet. I'm hopefully going time for 1 more combat. It's getting tight. Yeah, I'll do 1 more somewhere else, but I won't do it in here, just in case that this maybe should come back into here. I just don't think that's the case. I don't see it in the rules. It might be that it's there, and I think I'm just trying to rush through things here. So what we'll do is we'll put this in here, and then if I've got that wrong and it happens to still be in there, then I'll come back and put it in there, but I don't think that's the case. I still think it's better us just sitting back in there. I didn't want to be in there. You know? Right, okay. Let's move on and do 1 more, because it's about all I've got the time for. Now, the air naval control's at the 1 box this time. We've still got Baltic States. Well, let's do Baltic States then. That's the other important one. for us. I mean, we've not resolved the one in Belarus yet, but I'm going to leave that one just in that sort of little small percentage hope that I should have an extra reduced army in there, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So yeah, let's draw for Baltic States combat card. Right, 1942 Soviet faction. Zoom out so we can see that a bit, Grant. Same again, isn't it? Reduction in 3 dice. Man, they're cruel. Okay, so general this time. Well, I don't know, who have we got? Von Rundstedt. Von Rundstedt. Who does nothing. We need to be attacking into planes for him to do anything. So that's not going to be. What are we doing? We're defending in River. I think there was a guy that done something like that, didn't he? Right, I've got, that's against the Western, so is that. Defending in planes, that's not any good. Defending in any, that's against this. Yeah, I've got 2 options. This guy. So remember, I'm not able to stop the reduction. Reroll up to 2 dice Nazis combat roll. Now my reduction is going to reduce one of the regulars to a reduced army, and even if that little bit does say that shouldn't be there, maybe should be in Belarus, there's still one there, so we're okay with that. So that's going to be my reduction. And then the other guy was cancel 1 tank result. But it's into River, this one anyway, so yeah, I'm going to be rolling 3 dice. So yeah, I'm going to play him. I'm going to have him. So defending against Soviet faction, any terrain, let's go for him. Right, we've got to resolve the reduction. Like I say, regular army becomes a reduced. Right, that's the special effect being done. So now we're rolling dice, and remember, any aircraft are going to be counted as hits. Yeah, defending River. Right, yeah, no modifiers here. So they're getting, it was 3, wasn't it? Yeah, they're getting 3 dice. And we can reroll up to 2 of the Axis dice, right? And well, we get to, the controlling player may choose the original result or the new result. Ah, okay. Right. Not relevant to these though. We got an air hit. Well, we did get an event, so it's only going to be 2 hits, isn't it? Right, so it's 2 hits and an event, I think. So we are going to be rolling 1 grey, 2 white. Now we can reroll up to 2 of these and choose to either keep the original result or the new result. Okay, and Von Rundstedt doesn't do anything for us. They're sitting at 2 hits. We have a where, well, we really want 3 hits, don't we? Okay, here we go. Oh, I like that. Right, so that's our 3 hits. I don't think we want an event. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to re-roll the event. I'm going to keep these 2. I'm going to re-roll the event from Enrique. Or Ricci. I'm going to re-roll this, and I can either keep this or take the new result. Right, we'll have an event then. Well, hopefully that doesn't scupper things. We do still have Abwehr, but I want to keep that in case Belarus goes wrong as well. Okay, so the results are there. And remember, the air naval control's at 1, so that basically counts as, in fact, I'll just put that to that, because that counts as a hit. So, but we've got 2 for that, because defending, and 1 for that. So we're 3 to 2, but two combat events to come. So let's get the first one. 28th Mountain Arm, Mountain Army, if the USSR is not at war, well, it is. If the combat is with the Western faction, it is not. Cancel one hit from the Allied combat roll in this combat. Oh, okay. Oh, well, I could have done with that elsewhere. We don't need it. Roll one Soviet die. If the result is discard this card with any other result, it goes into the next year. Right, so we cancel one hit for them. And that's going to be that event done. And then we roll a Soviet die. And if it's a hit, we discard that card. That's it, done. If it's not a hit, it goes to the new year. And it's not a hit. Good. So that was the result. So that goes down to the New Year's combat events. And I mean, that was a good card, but we didn't need it there. But it would have been amazing if we had needed it and it got us out of a hole. But anyway, right, so we've got one more combat event to come. And we get Hitler takes over command of army group. If the USSR is not at war, well, it is. If there is only one German army in the combat, or the combat result is victory, it goes down the bottom. Right, so it's well, it was victory for us. If there's only one German army in the combat, well, there's not. There's 3 German armies, but the combat result is victory. Then this is going down the bottom. Right, it's going down the bottom at only 2 cards that are left. I think we know what that other one is, isn't it? That's a counter-attack. These are not very nice cards left. There's 2 cards left in the combat events. They're not very nice. Right, that comes away. We've got 3 hits to their 1. We won. It is a victory. That goes away. Von Rundstedt goes back, activated. And Enrique, which, well, okay, didn't need that. Has been sorry, that was activated. Rundstedt goes back in command. That is that, right? So we survived in Baltic States. I'm going to have to stop there, I'm afraid. So we've still got 3 combats still to do. Belarus is the important one. I might well just be going for that right away when I come back, because the last 2 cards were reduction in 3 dice. So I'm sort of just hoping that maybe we could get a better card and avoid the combat there. I mean, we do have 3 armies in there, so... Or is it 4? Now, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be told it's only 3. But the other thing could be, I was allowed to do that. Was allowed to make a retreat with that army still there. And that might be, the answer to that is no, and I still have to be back in Orel with no armies. It might be that comes back as being the answer to that question as well. I'm going to look more into it. Probably look up BGG and maybe ask a question on BGG if I can't find anything. But hopefully Carlos will answer it here, and then next time I come to record, we'll know what's what. Okay, I better get away for now. I'll be back when I can. Cheers.